Once again got interrupted by a phone call, sorry. So this is continuing finding the quadratic formula from scratch. So what's half of b over a? As we did with numbers earlier, we can find half of the fraction by just multiplying by 1/2. So half of b over a will be 1 times b, 2 times a will be b over 2a. We want to square that to see what to add to both sides. Square this fraction, you get b squared over 2a times 2a is 4a squared. So this is what we're going to add to both sides. I'm going to write x squared plus b over ax plus b squared over 4a squared equals, I'm going to put it in right here, why not, b squared over 4a squared minus c over a. Okay. Now, the left-hand side is now a perfect square. It looks like a mess, but it is a perfect square. Just remember how we got this. We took half of that and squared it. So what goes in the parentheses? X plus half of b over a is b over 2a. Now, on the other side, I need a common denominator here. How about if I multiply the top and bottom by a? Now I've got an a squared matching up, and I need this 4 also. How about if I multiply the top and bottom by 4? Is that pretty nifty? Okay. So on this side, now that I've got a common denominator, I can write one fraction, b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. And now we're ready to take the square root on both sides. So square root gets taken on both sides. Lots and lots of writing. And remember, this is a number because b, a, and c are all going to be numbers that you'll see as coefficients and a constant. So I write plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. And a little side note here, if we split this up, what's the denominator? It's the square root of 4a squared. That's a perfect square. That's the square of 2a. So in the next line, I'm going to keep the radical on the top, and I'm going to change this to just plain 2a. The square root of that expression, square, will just be x plus b over 2a. On the right-hand side, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Oh my gosh, it's almost finished. Let's add negative b over 2a to both sides. Does it look like the quadratic formula yet? It pretty much does, except they're separated fractions here, but we have the common denominator, so we can join them together. And here you go. It's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. Make that look like an a. Divided by 2a. There's the finished quadratic formula. And now you see where it comes from. That's the end of page 5.